Hi, my name is Shaniki, and basically, I'm going to be elaborating on businesses. Okay, first of all, right now, I'm doing some things in the medical field, and so there was a situation that happened when one day I was going to the bank, and it was like, you might as well say yesterday. And so I got paid from from one of my medical jobs that I'm doing, which I'm going to go ahead and just say caregiving for the elderly. And so basically, I went up to the bank to try to cash the check. And so it it was a check that was written by the third party company. And so I don't know if people are aware of what's going on with technology now. Like if that business that even though you're working for the second party, well actually you could say the first party because the first party is the client that you're working for that is involved with the second party where they can hire, where they go to the business and get CNAs or any type of nurse that you need to take care of any clients that need to be taken care of, especially if they're in the home. And so, right about now, so I get my check from this company, and so I go cash it, and the bank is like, okay, we can't cash it right now because your account is still new. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. You could just deposit it. I don't get mad over stuff like that because I already had some money, or if you want to say some change, to get me to A and B, or if I had to go to the store to get anything that I needed. And so I'm standing in line, and then he turned around and he said, I'm sorry, we can't cash it because the company that you're dealing with is having some type of technical or issues with their funding. So I'm like, okay. And I was like, what is it? And he's like, well, we cash checks of theirs here all the time. But for some reason, when we cashing this check today, it isn't going through. So I got on the phone and I called them. You know what I'm saying? I called their business, the people who issue out the check, and basically, make sure that I get the money so I can cash. And I literally had to let them know what was on my mind. I never, when it comes to small money or little money, I really don't, care for stuff like that. But that day, I've been tired. I've been standing on my feet for 8 hours, and I don't really care like a lot about a lot of stuff like anything that has to do with small change or money or anything. But when it involves like if I'm working with one client and I have to go to another client, then yeah, I'm gonna need my money so I can get to A and B. And so I had to let them know, if you can't afford to keep holding your business or these people that you're dealing with, if you can't afford to make sure your clients get their money, then you need to basically close down. And to all the small businesses that are out there and to the new businesses, sometimes you have to do it. Sometimes you have to get a second job or have a second job. But the reason why I'm so tired is because even though I'm a caregiver, I do have a second job. I had a second job working at another company. Okay? And so when it gets to the point where like if I had to get here and here and there, And it's already bad enough. The first job, well, actually, the second job that I was working at, is the money to get me to A and B, and then I'm helping out the elderly. So I kind of was like, when they act like they didn't have the money for when I was doing the caregiving, I was kind of like, you know what, I'm not worried about it, because a lot of elderly people, there's a lot of them out there that need help, and I am the type of person who went out of my kindness a whole bunch of times to help a lot of individuals, especially the elderly. And I also have been volunteering for them, especially the times when I was in New York and stuff like that. And so it's getting to the point where I did CNA, I'm doing home caregiving, and I have other skills that are in the medical field, but the only thing is, like, it's getting to the point where I stepped up past the Richter scale, and it seems to be bothering certain individuals, because I took time out of my time to level up. All right, I've been leveled up. I leveled up so much that businesses couldn't afford to pay me. And I don't talk about my pay with no one, because for the simple fact, a lot of people become angry. But it's sad already that the caregiving one, the amount that they paying me an hour, I negotiated with them and said, okay, I'll take it. All right? Okay, because like the amount that they're supposed to pay me is, I don't want to say it because for a simple fact, I don't want nobody to become angry. But I'm going to let you know, it's more, the amount that they're supposed to pay me for as a caregiver is like amount that a RN and an LPN is supposed to be making an hour, but more. And so I had stepped up a long time ago in an attempt to do the RN and the LPN, but even if I'm stepping up and doing all this stuff, that's like saying, like, if I start the RN and the LPN like tomorrow, are you able to pay me $180 an hour? Are you able to do that? And most businesses and hospitals, I don't even think you even have a nurse that you can even paying $200 an hour or even more. And so, like I say, I don't talk about my status because it can upset a lot of people. And like a lot of jobs I have, I don't talk about my pay because it upsets a lot of people. I don't talk about my education no longer because it upsets a lot of people. People actually become angry. And so basically right now, I got an opportunity where I'm kind of selected to do something that I would say more like it's a higher paying job, but it's a job where you can really help people in the military. I mean, not the military, but excuse me, in the medical field. And when I reached that level, and it's like people are starting to become angry. But I'm like, I'm living in this state, you know what I'm saying? But you complaining about how you need nurses and doctors and medical people to work for you. And must I remind you, that's not even really my career goal. That's like, the medical field was basically a specialty for another degree. And so the degree that I'm supposed to be doing, that's